to Super Week, baby. It's only game 3 out of 15, and we've already seen the absolute madness. And it's not going to stop here. Schalke right now are looking to continue their miracle run versus Fnatic. And as per the result of Vitality earlier, if Schalke loses, they are eliminated from the playoffs. Crazy stuff.
We always knew it was going to take a miracle to get Schalke to playoffs. Now the stakes are just clearer, which is nice for us because we finally have stakes that aren't just, this game really matters, we swear. But on the other hand, damn, I wanted a longer, more drawn out miracle run.
It wouldn't be a miracle run if it was easy, Drakos. And this has been a crazy season, one for the history books. And for Fnatic, it may be the very first time this team misses the playoffs. What's going on with this team who had a fantastic start to the split?
I don't have a good answer for you.
Well, that's what we pay you for, so get one.
Make one up on the spot, please.
I mean, part of the problem with Fnatic is it feels like from 1 week, it seems like that they've solved their issues, and then the next week, like, there's completely different issues again. Like last week, what's going on with Selfmade? Like, I have not seen this man perform like that all split, and I felt like that all of a sudden, he's just not performing at the caliber that we expect from him, and it's just like different pieces of Fnatic just seem to be going wrong at different points in the split.
I feel like there's a philosophy on Fnatic right now, and I could absolutely be wrong, and I'd be happy if they came out and spoke to me otherwise, but it feels like every player is trying to make plays, and Fnatic is so reliant on individual players in these outplay moments. You think back to Hylissang winning lane at level 1 on Pyke in a lane that he should never, ever have been able to win. And then in the same moment, Selfmade dying under tower because he's pushing the envelope too much. Bwipo dying in the top lane because he's trying too hard to get big advantages. Nemesis overextending and dying to a redemption. It just feels like everyone on Fnatic wants to be the star to turn it around, or feels like there's this huge pressure to turn it around, and as a result, it's just chaotic. It's all over the place. It does not feel cohesive at all.
Not to toot my own horn, but one of the things I said when Selfmade joined Fnatic is that there is a world in which a Hilly, who likes the 50-50 plays and sometimes goes in very riskily, and a Bwipo, that combination with a Selfmade who may also do that, that might be detrimental to the team if that happens and you're not playing at the high level that you're used to.
But I feel like that when we look at last split, that was never an issue.
That's true.
And I feel like that, like.
So what's changed?
No, I don't know. Like, the biggest thing that we've always talked about is the meta, where it feels like that a lot of our top teams have struggled to adapt to the meta and play around what is a very Drake-focused play style. And whereas some teams have been able to adapt, Fnatic is one where it still seems like they haven't figured out the formula, and you can only hope that coming into this week, they've been able to solve it.
Yeah, let's take a look at their strength of schedule. So again, the combined wins of the teams they're playing versus Schalke, XL, and SK. You know, it doesn't mean anything to me.
On paper, in theory, it is the easiest schedule when you just look at the amount of wins for the teams that they're facing against. When you look at how good Schalke has been, how good XL has been, how good SK has been, it really doesn't feel like it's the easiest schedule.
It doesn't. Yeah, but they're up versus Schalke, and Asset is the Schalke miracle run, and it just got even more miraculous. They have to, well, they would always have to have beaten Fnatic, so let's not be over dramatic, but that's what we do here. We are over dramatic, so they need to beat Fnatic or they're out.
This is the closest Europe has ever been in the history of the league. Never have we entered the final week of the regular season, and every team can still qualify for playoffs. And all of this is a result of one team that we had all counted out and one man that we had all given up on. Right? So Schalke was 1-8 after the first half of the split. In week 5, right, they went 0-2. At 1-10, why would anyone really believe in this team? But then it began.
Wait, what?
The awakening.
Did you plan this?
The bot lane started finding some consistency. Abbedagge became awakened. Odoamne suddenly returned to form. But above all this, Gilius found himself.
How is this happening right now?
After years of struggle and strife, with the looming shadow of Quickshot constantly over his shoulder, he continued his aggression. He found champs that worked, and he gave no Fs in the chat. He is breaking the mental and defying expectations. He does not need God in his name for the fans to bestow upon him this glory. It will take a miracle to make this run to playoffs a reality for Schalke, but the fans believe that their God can show them the way forward. The final stretch starts right now. It's time for Schalke versus Fnatic.
Oh my God!
There are no words. How
how do you follow that?
You can't, except watch the man himself play, the god himself play on Summoner's Rift.
The very first elimination match of the LEC Summer season. I am Quickshot, joined by Ender. It is Schalke versus Fnatic. Vedius, what an introduction for the man, the myth, and potentially the new legend. Do or die, win and your hopes stay alive. Lose and you are out. Schalke will be on the blue side. Ender, let's turn our attention to the draft and try to find some semblance of control from the hype that Vedius just injected.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to bring it down to earth right here, because this is a very important game for these two teams. And while Schalke have been on such a tear, Schalke 4-0, mind you, Fnatic not quite so much. They really struggled last week against Rogue and against G2. So I'm curious to see what we're having here in the draft. I'm already, my mind's boggled. What's a Tristana doing in there? It's not 10-16 just yet. And to be fair, Rekkles has been, you know, going back in the years to pull out the Jins, the Sivir, I think he played as well.
Classic Rekkles champion pool.
Yeah,
that's what it's
exactly.
actually
As
about.
soon as you see Sivir, you know a Tristana's going to come out, because Fnatic need pentakills to win games, it feels like.
Okay, so question now with the Caitlyn ban as well, who has, by the way, been first pick in both previous games. GP follows next. Has to be early ADC picks here for both teams, knowing the pool has been limited.
Yeah, I mean, the Ezreal is open here for Schalke if they want to go to that. And it's actually interesting. Fnatic have pinpointed the Senna as something they need to remove, because in the last 3 games, it's been the same exact bot lane for Schalke. It's been the Senna and the Tahm Kench here. So with the Ezreal locked in, I wonder if they default back to the Nautilus that had looked so good in Dreams' hand when they smashed G2.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, that Nautilus, 5 games played, only one of them was a victory. For Neon on the Ezreal, though, 4 games on Ezreal, 2 wins and 2 losses. And that's already been locked in. A very long hover for the Kai'Sa. This will be the second time.
Wait a second.
That Rekkles has played it, and he's not won with it yet.
That's supposed to just be the hover. Bwipo always hovers it. Why is he locking it in here? Rekkles trying to dip back into 2019 champ pool for the Kai'Sa. And I guess it makes sense when there's a lot of these ADCs banned away, but you know, with Aphelios nerfs not going that direction here, the Kai'Sa is something that can slot well with a lot of different melee support options. You can super stack or passive, and generally plays into the idea that if your team wants to dive forward, that Kai'Sa can also back up that playstyle.
I like the fact that Sett is now locked in. You just talked about the combination with melee support. Sett can obviously be that flex, not something we've seen too often in the support role, but can happen. Very quick lock-ins here on the Bard and the Azir. So Ezreal Bard's an interesting combo.
No, the Bard in particular, not just for the combo, which, you know, can be quite frustrating to deal with in lane, but for Dreams, the man that has been playing almost exclusively melee champions this year, has been such a strong engage force for Schalke, is now going to be on a champion whose ultimate is great at engaging, but it's a very different look for the player.
So this is his 6th unique champion. It's his first time on Bard, all split long. And the final lock-in in phase 1 is going to be the Corki there. Yay, Corki Azir. We really are going back in time, Ender. And now we're jumping into the phase 2 ban. So Kha'Zix removed from the pool, Nautilus taken out, and that's something that you talk extensively about. Yeah,
and if Schalke continue to ban away these melee supports, because Nautilus Kai'Sa was such a prominent combination, but I think Fnatic realized, hey, if there's an Azir on the other side and we don't pick Corki here, that's going to be banned. So they're sacrificing Hylissang's pool just a bit.
Yeah, definitely the case. One last ban now for Fnatic. They've targeted Gilius for once, and I wonder if they saw the cold open. Gilius, King of Lee Sin, ascend to godhood and grant me this win. I think that was obvious. That's the only reason I played with that. If you've already banned away one of his champions, take away Gilius's Lee Sin, those natural 20s that are helping him win.
Look, you can ban Lee Sin, but you can't ban a god in draft. You know, he's played other things, so we'll see what they do. I did learn some other, you know, really important things from that D&D session. I got to play with the other casters earlier. Fnatic, I was thinking, hey, you know, how do we fix this? How do we fix this? Let him play Comfort. So with the Leona now banned on top of it, I think you just let Hylissang play the Pyke here.
No ways. No,
I mean, obviously he's going to play the Pyke.
I'm jumping for joy at the moment. But the thing is, if anybody didn't watch that cold open, you should go check it out. And if this gets locked in, then Schalke locking Camille. That's the strategy. I saw it work. G2 got a free win from that. You know, Medic, the Dungeon Master.
Trevor, look, he locks it in, but there's like, okay, Hylissang's going to be really happy with that pick, and no one plays Camille anyway, so it's fine.
No one plays it anyway, but it worked. in the D&D session, so that makes me think it's going.
Yeah, but Schalke can't listen to us. They don't know they're supposed to pick this,
By the
Trevor.
way, what is Odoamne's win ratio on Camille and Summer?
100%.
Yes, you played it once and he won with it. Once. He's having the Cho'Gath, so it's good. Yes! All right. Camille, Sejuani, the dream combination, rounds out the team comp here. Azir, Ezreal, Bard, and now the last pick coming in for what we assume is going to be Bwipo.
Yeah, it'll be Bwipo up in the top side. Probably wants to get a duelist that can skirmish against the Camille early on, because with Sejuani next to Camille, that's a lane that you certainly look to play through. Bot lane doesn't have great gank opportunities unless Hylissang's playing very aggressively, which we have seen from him and his Pyke before here. But I love the Sejuani next to the Bard. Give your team, you know, another long-range engage option, so you don't just rely on Dreams' ultimate.
And there we go. Renekton's going to be locked in. Okay, so what do you make of the two compositions now in terms of how they're going to stack up?
So Schalke's comp, I like. It covers a lot of different bases. You have some side lane threat in the Camille. You have a lane you can play through. You have non-committal engage with that Sejuani, and the late game scaling to back up on with the Azir and the Ezreal. So it's pretty much every stage of the game, they have something going for them, and they can ramp nicely into those team fights later on. Whereas Fnatic have a lot of different things, but I think if there's one thing you take away from this Fnatic draft, it is they have dive options and they have kill options on side lanes. Pyke plus Kai'Sa can be super oppressive, because Pyke just has to land 1 CC. That allows Kai'Sa to go flying on in there, get the execute with the Corki in the side lane too. You're going to be looking to dive bomb Odo in the sides.
In a straight up 5v5, do you get a little anxious for Fnatic when you see that Camille, Azir, Sejuani? We'll find out how that plays out in game. It is do or die for Schalke versus Fnatic. And welcome back to Summoner's Rift. Straight out of the gates, the shenanigans are afoot. A 5-man stack of Schalke, who are on a 4-game winning streak, are now going to make their way towards the river.
So I think Fnatic did this last week with the Pyke, where they look for the early play around bot lane, and Schalke have scouted this out. They know that Fnatic are coming.
They're going in. That's the bone skewer. Immediately catches Dreams. Dreams manages to get the stun. That's the first flash already. Hylissang running for his life. Going to hold on to that summoner spell for now. Gilius wasn't able to find anyone with that passive, and now Abbedagge is in trouble. He's forced to flash away from the second bone skewer. And man, that's crazy. Heal flash used on the side of Schalke, ignite flash on the side of Fnatic.
That was just so odd, it seemed, because it looked like Dreams used the heal before any damage had actually been dealt, like he used it for the move speed to dodge away right there. And Schalke, even though they were stacked up, didn't feel like they were willing and ready to commit in there. I think one of the things that was maybe hurting them a little bit is Gilius on the Sejuani doesn't have a lot of other melee champions to back him up, so Odoamne wasn't really in a position to layer down the auto, so the only real CC they had was going to be that initial Bard stun that didn't really get followed up on super well.
No, it didn't. So at the end of the day, Abbedagge, a slightly juicier target. However, it was Selfmade that lost his flash, so sitting with that Hex flash for now, as well as the phase rush on this.
Yeah, I will say losing flash on Sett, not a super big deal. With the Hex flash combined with the power of Nimbus Cloak, and you know, he's gonna have Celerity and all these move speed bonuses, he can use that out of the Fog of War and still get a jump on any of these lanes. Although, if I'm looking at the lanes that he's actually gonna be trying to gank, well, probably focused on bot side early on. We've seen all these Pyke lanes with Fnatic go ham from level 1, level 2, all-ins, trying to get kills, and now that there's not a heal on the other side for Dreams, they still have to be mindful of the exhaust. I think Schalke have set themselves up for success down here with some defensive summoners, but that's the area that Fnatic will like to attack.
I want to see when and how Selfmade gets involved, and also, frankly, what's going to happen here with Hylissang. Nicely done. Manages to dive himself forward, spike Neon backwards, and in terms of the trade, very successful, and now underneath the tower, Neon and Dream's going to have to dodge a bunch of those skills.
Yeah, so Hylissang's Q is going to apply 2 stacks of Kai'Sa's Plasma right there, so without layering down the E as well, it was hard for Rekkles to actually punch that 5th auto attack there and make that big burst of damage come through. So trade a little bit suboptimal, but speaking of suboptimal, Nemesis.
Definitely suboptimal indeed. Those Sand Soldiers were just wailing away on Corki as he was standing on the back of the minion wave. Now there's a gigantic wave pushing towards him. And I do have one question for everybody in the chat to answer. Do you believe in the Schalke Miracle Run? I want you to spam yes or no, and we'll see if it works. Just a reminder, If they lose this game, they are out.
Okay, so real quickly here, Selfmade just got screwed a little bit. Well, he's going to take a nice trade against Abbedagge, but Nemesis actually canceled his reset. So while Selfmade actually pathed topside to try and contest for that, you know, scuttle crab up there, Bwipo had priority. He really wanted to make a move. He's not able to secure the double scuttle because Nemesis didn't, or because he took such a terrible trade a little bit earlier in that lane.
Well, that means that Selfmade will be a touch behind. Let's see what impact it has. Immediate roam, by the way. Hylissang makes his way up towards the mid lane. Rekkles is already backed. Picked himself up the attack speed dagger, as well as a pair of boots, and should be able to be back in lane to catch this wave. And this is a bit of a testament for how quickly and aggressively they pushed those first few waves.
Yeah, and this is really nicely done by Rekkles. You can see all he loses are 2 melee minions from that wave and is going to be able to get back. Hylissang also, you know, went mid to try and cancel a reset, but he didn't really take too many trades, so he's still high on HP, high on mana, so he didn't need to go back to base himself and instead use that opportunity to make a play.
Is there an opportunity for Selfmade to play around this wave that's pushing towards Fnatic's bottom lane? You talked about how it could be a focus for him, and if you look at the state of the minimap, Neon and Dreams are going to have to try either shove that in or potentially risk losing minions, and Selfmade's already making his way down.
He's already going to be coming down here, expecting, you know, maybe Gilius up towards the top side, but Fnatic have double sweepers down here, Selfmade using his, which will spot out the ward on the tri-brush. Hylissang still goes in.
He does indeed. Dreams is over the wall, though, thanks to the magical journey, and Fnatic follow through. He's down to 300, 200, 100. First blood, Fnatic, exactly as you talked about, and focus on the bottom lane, and the timing of that vote could not have been worse.
Yeah, you hate the timing on that one, but we're still very early days in this match for Schalke. Still have some time. Still, you can see the threat of Pyke and the effective range he has when you combine the range of his E with a flash, with a bone skewer on top of it. Schalke, who are playing fairly safely in that lane, you know, just about neutral inside of that one, get punished very hard there. It's a nicely timed gank from Selfmade. This will also get them a very early dragon.
It's crazy.
They can look to snowball that.
5-minute dragon, and this is the replay of that moment. Hilly finding his skill shot, but also Selfmade managing to catch the magical journey.
Yeah, so Hylissang did a lot of really nice things right there. First, he was like dipping back into the brush to make it look like he wasn't playing aggressive. Then, you know, both he and Dreams reactive flash right there, so Dreams doesn't get immediately CC'd, but Selfmade is ready to go with the E right there and get the kill.
And when you see the burst damage from Rekkles' Kai'Sa's plasma combined with Hylissang, I mean, it just melts the squishy, you know, bottom lane of Schalke. And Hylissang now already with the roam. He's going to show his face in the middle lane in just a moment. I just keep worrying every time. I worry for both the target of Hylissang and Hylissang himself in recent weeks.
Yeah.
But for this game, first blood, first dragon, Fnatic off to a flying start.
And I do want to say this is not a very easy game to play Pyke in the mid to late stages. Of course, you know, we already, you know, joked about the Camille in draft earlier on, but Sejuani gonna shut that down immediately if you go too hard on the Pyke. Versus Azir too, the wall gonna knock you right into the middle of your team. So Hylissang is gonna have to be on point with that.
And that's also important because during draft you talked about how Fnatic have a lot of divers. Well, Azir cares not for many of those.
Go away!
Instant fight reset if he needs to, but look at this. There goes the Phantom Undertow. A lot of damage coming out from Rekkles and an arcane shift away from Neon. Now, Hylissang took a lot of damage, but ends up being a fairly even trade. Rekkles staying mostly healthy.
He can sustain a bit back now. Up towards the top side, Schalke are playing super aggressive. Bwipo takes a trade, but the rest of Schalke are here. Gilius was trying to set up a steal on the red buff, but now that Bwipo's lost his ultimate, I don't know if Gilius wants to stick around in here.
I mean, Dominus used there by Bwipo just to try to turn around. Odoamne still got the Hextech ultimatum, and Gilius with the Glacial Prison has it available. Nemesis able to escape with just the W, and now we turn it around. Odo being jumped on here by Bwipo.
Yeah, but also because Gilius was just seen going for the gank in mid lane, exiting through that bottom river, now Bwipo plays super aggressive, and I was thinking maybe for a second Selfmade could set up a dive, and he cancels his recall. He's going to be around this area. I wonder if he was seen on that ward, because if he was, that's so intelligent from him, because now Odoamne is like, oh, I have to go back to base. I have to use my teleport and make sure I have the HP to survive against a potential dive.
Oh, man, this is such crazy. Very different pace as well. 2 previous games, significantly slower, significantly more tense, like more calculated in each of the early game moves. But I guess in a Fnatic Schalke game, you should anticipate like throwing the kitchen sink at the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's still just 1 kill, but you can see both teams are testing the water, right? Hylissang with so many roams around that middle lane. Is he seen? No, he's not seen. So Odoamne's decision-making, not changed by any of that, but
impacted.
could have been close.
Let's see what Bwipo does. He's already recalled now. Teleport advantage, despite the fact the decision-making is in question. The advantage to Bwipo is still there. And Odoamne immediately jumps in with that hook shot. Double Doran's daggers, sword as well. Cloth armor, ruby crystal. So we got a lot of very early game power. I mean, it's just signaling to you that these guys just want to fight, fight, fight. Do you think Selfmade can or should, make his way top at any point in the coming minutes?
I think that with Dragon coming up in 90 seconds, this is like his last window. He does have a finished Cinderhulk, so I doubt he's looking for a reset anytime soon, but he's going to want to make sure the Rift Herald continues to be warded. They have a nice ward in there. I'm not sure if he or Bwipo placed that, but Bwipo pushed up.
He's got Flash, he's got Dominus, as well as Slice and Dice, but now he's locked inside the ultimatum. That's a Slice. Locked up at the edge of the wall, blows the Flash, and the Dice will not let him escape. Gilius with a kill.
Yeah, it's an excellent gank there from Gilius, but also, echoes of a consistent problem for Fnatic, which is when Fnatic's lanes are not in a good position.
Yeah.
For example, pushing forward there needs to be cleared out and actually bounced off the turret. Selfmade is not there with his team. He's close, he's in the top side of the map, but he's not actually escorting that one through, and Bwipo pushes up without that, gets punished.
Being fashionably late to a gank is not cool. It's not a party, and we'll see whether or not Fnatic can or cannot party. Teleport was used there by Bwipo top lane. A lot of members of Fnatic in the mid is now Selfmade. He's making his way down south. 30 seconds to the mountain.
But check out bot lane, because Schalke are going for this late rotation up into the Rift Herald. Rekkles getting so much CS, pushing in the turret. That's going to give him at least a plate, probably two there solo. And then Schalke are going to try to, reclaim some of this gold by placing the Herald up into the top side of the map. But that also means that Fnatic then get their second Drake of the game. So this series of events has to be benefiting Fnatic because it took Schalke so long to get to the top side and start that objective.
Do you believe in Kai'Sa? Rekkles' Kai'Sa. He's the one that's got the huge advantage. Now, Dreams was able to throw the ulti down. Here comes Neon. Exhaust chucked out as well. He's stunned up and takes no damage under the tower. Gilius arrives to the party. Schalke have got themselves Herald, they've got themselves a second kill, and they can chase down this tower, but at the same time, Rekkles and Hilly are hammering away on the bottom lane.
Yeah, Odoamne walks up there, realizes, hey, doesn't want to be in that area. Do you want to say, Schalke played that very nicely up there. Dreams catches out Bwipo, knowing he doesn't have any cooldowns ready to go. Neon also buffers the CC by dropping his ultimate, so he can still deal the damage, and Bwipo is unable to escape to his tower. Now, Neon was the one to pick up the Rift Herald, which I think is the correct decision, because then they can place this a little bit later on, but now bot side.
Oh, there's the engagement from Odo. Hextech ultimate is on cooldown, by the way. Selfmade's coming in with a showstopper slam dunk. Haymaker to the face. Flawless tower dive from Fnatic.
It's huge, too, that Selfmade is catching some momentum early on in this game, because we saw last week, when it falls apart early, when one mistake is made by Selfmade, it then spirals out of control, and the games get completely out of hand. Just that he has this confidence now, after two good ganks, is going to be crucial, as now Bwipo getting dove top.
All right, the Herald was used. Bwipo is able to clear out the minions. The tower takes out Shelly. And more importantly, the tower stays standing. So Fnatic, 2 dragons to the name, a tower to the name, and Gilius, he's chasing forward, manages to get the stun. Here comes Dreams, 150 HP, a slap to the face, but won't be enough until Gilius does it. 3 kills to 2, it's still 1,000 gold advantage to Fnatic.
Gilius, king of Sejuani, ascend to godhood and grant me this
Win
up. Damn it, it doesn't work, Trevor.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's significantly better with Lee Sin as the champion. We'll have to think of a better rhyme. Maybe something to do with Bristle and Sage. I don't know. We'll play with it later. I can literally see your mind ticking. But this is a crazy start as Fnatic's gold lead has now diminished ever so slightly. But you can't deny the fact Infernal Drake is next. 2 Drakes on the board at 12 minutes is crazy. So the Dragon win condition is going to be a big threat. But I do like Schalke's options or possibilities of fighting in and around that area. The question is, will they have the items to be able to deal with the damage?
Yeah, and I'm not convinced that we're going to have that, at least for the 3rd Drake of the game. Abbedagge delaying things by going for the Lost Chapter will mean he's a bit slower on that Nashor's Tooth, whereas, both these mana immunes completed. They're also not the best position to be in for Fnatic, but will be coming through relatively soon. Now, I do want to take just a second, because I feel like we praise both teams for diving the side lanes, but also like both top laners, what are we doing? We know the map is split. We know it's going to be trouble. We know that, when your entire team is on the top side of the map, you're going to get dove down bot side. So I would like to see those top laners give a little bit more respect. as we know that Fnatic's comp especially is built to collapse on Odoamne.
Oh man, we'll have to see how this plays out. And like Odoamne in particular has been very outspoken. Hylissang is going to be the one that's caught inside Odo's cage. Interesting, by the way, that earlier today, Ender, you tweeted, and I quote, "Today has been decided by better jungler, quote unquote, Smite wins."
Yes.
3-0-1 for Gilius, 2-0-0 for Selfmade. The trend continues.
Look, the early game is important, but you know what's more important? Making sure you get the Baron that wins you the game. So you got to be clutch on those Smites and Gilius. Constantly invading on the Sejuani, not what you're used to seeing, but I do like that, especially on the Infernal map. Opens up the blue seals especially. No brush, no pesky walls get in your way.
I kind of prefer a 3-0-1 Sett to a 2-0-0 Sett.
Yes.
And I'm wondering how and where the most spoken about player on Schalke is going to use this advantage. You know, he's got his fully upgraded jungle item, a minute and a half till the next Drake. You mentioned already, probably not the one to fight over. But hey, Gilius may be feeling emboldened.
Look, all I'm saying is that you think Sejuani's a tank, but she's got kills. The Cinderhulk is going to be ticking people down.
Yep.
She's kind of an assassin against 3 of the 4 players, or 3 of the 5 players, I can do math, on Fnatic's team here. The whole bot side of the map going to be very squishy, very vulnerable. Also, 4 out of 5 sources of Fnatic are going to be magic damage. Kai'Sa eventually is going to tick up and do a lot more magic damage later on, but for fights right now, when Ninja Tabi's 2 going to be insane high value against the Corki, just for that, you know, auto attack damage reduction, like, she really hard to deal with.
This is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. You know, during Ready Check, I had such a bold prediction about Rogue versus Vitality, and I was so confident. I've lost all of that. I have no idea what is happening in our league, and it makes it very fun to watch. And let's see whether or not Hilly's going to chase. I wondered for a second if that Killer Instinct would get followed, but Neon with Flash, Exhaust, Arcane Shift, not going to be the easy target. The game, gold-wise, is even. Kill-wise, 4-2 in Schalke, but Fnatic, 20 seconds till the next round.
So theoretically, it's easier for Fnatic to get control of a river because a lot of their pick tools are not tied to their ultimate. So they can exude a little bit more threat around that area. Now, if Gilius, you know, walks up there with like an Odoamne or someone, like, they can gain that, but there we go.
Okay, tower is golden. Not the best Tempered Fate. Remember, first time on stage here for Dreams in the board. And just before the Dragon fight, whether or not that's influential, I'm not sure. We'll see as the setup is now being played.
Yeah, both top laners backing away from each other right now. They know they're going to be needed for a teleport very soon. There are a few flank wards for Bwipo to go on, and Fnatic fans rejoice as Nemesis won't have the package to dive in with this Dragon fight.
Yeah, but where is Hylissang going? He's not backing away. Fnatic, they seem to have conceded the river for now. Bottom wave is pushing towards the inner turret.
Yeah, just push mid.
And Bwipo sitting in base. He just finished the recall. Now, Odoamne made his way down without using the TP, and it's just Schalke starts.
Yeah, Schalke losing a lot of minions to the bot side, so this fight going to be important. TP behind.
TP's coming in behind. Dragon's going very, very low. Just Smite fight goes the way of Gilius.
He's a god!
Now they turn around the engage. Killer Instinct from Rekkles jumps on the Dreams, but he doesn't find the kill. Inside the pit, the damage is going down. Abbedagge is taken out. A Dragon at the cost of a mid laner. That's a fantastic spike! Flashed away from by Gilius, though. Odoamne puts Hextech Ultimatum down. Gets the kill onto Hilly. Now the turnaround from Schalke, but they've lost one. There's a reply back. Nemesis continues the chase, and Rekkles still remains untouched. Make it rain from Ikathia, as the Void missiles are not going to be able to pick up Dreams. Flash for flash. Fnatic dumpster Schalke in the fight.
Nemesis was feeling it right there, coming away with the triple. He wanted the quad. Check this fight out, and I think it's all about Bwipo in this one because he's the one that finds Abbedagge in this one. So an early smite from Selfmade will mean that Gilius gets that. Watch, the slice goes in, and then Bwipo says, there's Abbedagge, I'm gonna get him with the dice too. And there's Hylissang and Nemesis ready to follow up on the damage. Hylissang donates some extra gold over with that one, then also gets the Q on towards Gilius. That could have been disgusting if Gilius hadn't flashed away, just reset on reset on reset. But then Rekkles comes in on the side with Nemesis to just chunk him down and finish off the kills.
Zoom out for me, Ender. What we have seen from Fnatic in previous weeks, let's say controversial communication and decision making. Did this feel like they were on the same page, that they were focusing on the right targets? Like, how do you think the execution for Fnatic teamfight played out.
This felt much better than past weeks, but I also don't want to say that fight was not the most difficult for them because they basically said there's a dragon, 5 people are going to run straight at the dragon, and then once we're in the pit, kill whoever is in there. And Abbedagge was the primary target. And the thing about Fnatic's draft is they have so many champions with high agency. And what this means is that you can sort of do your own thing in fights. These types of comps rely less on coordination than, you know, a Schalke comp where Abbedagge can't deal damage unless Gilius is literally standing in front of him to block shots coming in.
The subtext of that, the comp does not require it. It says a lot to me. By the way, 100% kill participation here for Rekkles. He doesn't yet have his license to kill at 006 on the scoreboard. But Fnatic are still marginally ahead in gold. Schalke are pushing this mid turret, but look at Hilly from behind. Death from below is available to him. Selfmade is going to be picking up the second Herald, and Fnatic not going to stop. 20 minutes into the game, even on kills, even on gold, basically even on Dragons and Towers. And we're just going to have a crazy... I mean, I feel like it's going to go down to Baron. Whoever gets Baron again, smite it and you'll win the game.
Yeah, because Gilius got the smite on the last objective, it has sort of opened up the lifespan of this game, it seems. Because if Fnatic get that one, then all of a sudden we're looking at a crucial fight in 2 minutes. Because, you know, say that Infernal Drake is powerful, but you have 4 champions that are going to be building damage, and any extra damage you can get to help Pyke get into that execute range threshold with the soul extra damage is going to be very important for that champion. Speaking of damage, Nemesis just picked up tons of it. That Trinity Force.
Oh, man. I mean, the crazy thing is that now we're going to start coming to a scenario where if Schalke elect not to fight for the next dragon, they can buy time to get their second and third items completed.
Yeah.
Play around the objectives they want. Hylissang, I held my breath for a moment. I wondered if Gilius was going to go in, decided not to. And the Bone Skewer won't find a target. By the way, teleport's still not available for Bwipo as he's pushing the bottom lane. And we've just randomly caught Hylissang. Fnatic looked at Schalke walking towards them, and they've lost one. Now Rekkles was caught up by the Tempered Fate, and here comes Bwipo. It is the turnaround. It's a 5-on-4. Bwipo is destroying the HP bars, but there's no support. There was no follow-up and dive. There's the slide and the glide, but the Emperor's Divide was on hold. That's the engage. That's a catch. And now Rekkles is left alone. Gilius was able to lock down Nemesis, and at the end of it, Rekkles gets shut down. I have to see the start of it again. What did Fnatic hope to accomplish?
I mean, Hylissang was trying to do Hylissang things, and he gets caught out. Again, it's not easy to play this champion against the picks that Schalke have. Fnatic say, let's pick off Dreams. What they don't realize is that Odo is right over the wall. He was sitting in the Fog Vor on that control ward, instantly kills them. And then Fnatic, why are we committing forward here? I think Bwipo is trying to save Rekkles, so he's sacrificing himself so Rekkles stays alive. But then, why is Nemesis walking forward? Why is Rekkles still walking forward? Get the hell out, Fnatic. It's just not worth it. Bwipo tried to let himself die. He tried to sacrifice himself, and Fnatic said, take us with you, buddy.
A week ago, I yelled, why? And I think the same soundbite applies. Man, look at this. 2 kills for Neon, 2 for Abbedagge, 3 for Gilius, 2 for Odo, 10 kills to 6. They're in the gold lead, they're in the tower lead. 5 seconds to the next strike. They've got position on the dragon. 70% of you in chat voted you believe in the miracle run. Schalke have to win here to keep that alive.
And they're God. 10 out of 10 kill participation.
Oh,
gets another drag. Okay, we're not going to talk about that. Smile a little close, donating over to Odoamne here, but Fnatic clearly not trying to contest on that objective.
He's a benevolent god. He allows his minions to
It's true. It's true. I love it. I love it. Schalke gonna hop out of that one, but now we're at a point where, hey, because we're on Infernal map, Pyke feels really bad about himself. He doesn't have as much brush to hide in. He can't hide over the walls. There's less options, and Nemi goes wild.
Yeah, he really does. A lot of damage onto Neon, who's still holding on to his flash. Gets the Glacial Prison out of Gilius, but the fight is not followed up on, and no further engages. So we'll have a small reset. Push out those waves. You can see Bwipo catching in the bottom lane, Abba pushing in the top lane, and Selfmade a little bit on the wrong side of the rift, so to speak, is going to be able to bring Gilius back. Gets 2 teleports out of Fnatic. Tempered Fate locks up the Croc, and Bwipo's forced to slice away to safety, but 2 TPs is huge in exchange for 1.
Yep, that Croc gets out, no problem. And now, I mean, 5 times it's been a little bit of a struggle for him. Schalke have control once again over there, and this Herald's gonna do nothing. Like, they're not even honestly, why even place it? You're just giving them money.
Man, this is crazy. So, it feels to me like Schalke are now dictating the pace of the game. And it feels to me like Fnatic have to find a foothold back. Is that fair?
Yes.
And how do they do it?
Well, Fnatic's first attempt was, okay, when this Infernal Drake comes up, we're going to go topside and we're going to get vision down. But again, we saw it's really hard without, you know, the forward. But here, let me get this for you guys. Okay, zoom in. This brush right here is the one that is now gone that Pyke can actually use to go forward.
Okay.
And that allows him to, you know, look for a pick inside the jungle. Instead, he had to go for the brush above that one, which no Schalke player is going to walk towards.
Yeah.
They weren't able to find a pick, and that's going to be a struggle for him. And now it is an eternally difficult game. So we go back to the drawing board. What were we saying in Champ Select was that Fnatic have the options to try and attack side lanes. Kai'Sa, as an ADC, extremely unique in the fact that with her ultimate, she can close the gap. So if Bwipo lands a stun to apply the plasma, then all of a sudden you can look to throw down on Odoamne, but that's going to be difficult unless Fnatic have the setup and know that Schalke can't immediately pivot to a Baron.
And you expect Odoamne to be pushing on that champion, especially with Camille, especially with TP up. So we just need to watch the silence. You can see Odoamne alone in the bottom lane for now, pushing up past his vision line in a moment. Actually, no, immediately backs away, starts the recall. While that was going on, now 2.5 minutes to the next Infernal. It is not the soul point for either. We also have some threat of Baron as we're hitting 2 and 3 items, and importantly, those item breakpoints are coming in. Muramana upgraded for Neon. Rage Blade upgraded for Rekkles.
Yes, and for Rekkles, it's about to be even bigger because in 2 minutes, right now he's sitting about 650 stacks on the Mana Mune and should have the Gnasher's Tooth finished in 2 minutes. That will be big. Rekkles, no, he turns back into it!
Oh my word, now what happens afterwards? True Shot Barrage tags him, there's no support from anyone else, but the Empress Divide is with Rekkles, stays alive long enough to get out! How did he do that? The Bone Skewer into Showstopper, Gilius flashes over the wall, finally Rekkles is taken down, the Hextech ultimatum locks in Nemesis, the Corki is down, it's a double kill for Abbedagge on Azir. I thought Rekkles got away, but the follow-up from the team of Schalke was too much.
Dreams found the initial pick, and then Odo and Abbedagge come flying in there to finish it off. The damage dealers of Fnatic are down, and now there's just a chance of a smite, but Selfmade not anywhere near.
Can he do it? Gilius looking for the smite. Gilius, Lord of the Boar, looking to kick Fnatic straight out the door.
I love it. I love it. Schalke in command now. Hylissang!
Why? Why? Why?
The best part is that Schalke are sitting there like, yeah, okay, yeah, he's walking over all the, yep, here he comes, yep, oh, he's just gonna, oh yeah, he's gonna come all the way in here and we're gonna get that kill. Rekkles, in the same vein, thought he was safe, but then he turns back. He could have walked. No, wait, it actually looked like the CC came through before the animation finished. That was weird, that was wonky. He had flash anyways. Regardless, he got out and it looked like it was going to be okay. But then I believe it is Camille that absolutely ruins the day because Dreams gets the CC onto Rekkles and then Camille finds Nemesis.
All right, Odoamne looks like he's gonna get run down here by Bwipo and Nemesis with Baron buff secured. 20 seconds to Infernal. 3,000 gold lead. Do you believe in miracles? Schalke have the tools they need to close this game out. Ender and I have already discussed how the 5-on-5 composition is somewhat beneficial here to Schalke with Azir, with Sejuani. I think it's easier to execute as well. And now Selfmade has got caught out. He throws down the ultimate, gets a very big shield to escape for a few seconds, but Gilius gets the prison, locks them up. Neon is jumped on by a Killer Instinct, but the exhaust does so much wrong. The exhaust prevented him going down. It manages to work. Schalke lose 2, get 3, and they may not be done just yet.
And it was in a 4 versus 5. Odoamne was dead. Schalke still come out on top. Rekkles got exhausted by Neon. Hylissang, his ultimate got dodged away, so they couldn't finish off any of the kills. And now, no junglers on the board. We're just randoming it over this dragon.
Man, it would be so funny if Dreams is able to slap this away. He doesn't. It actually gets picked up by Nemesis there, and now Dreams manages to stay alive a few seconds longer. Neon's in trouble. Sidesteps away from one of the bombs. Now Nemesis gets caught out. Neon stays alive. The exhaust saved him against Rekkles. The flash saves him against Nemesis. And Schalke in a commanding position.
Schalke are just throwing down right now. They don't care that they're in a tough position 4 versus 5. Gilius is still leading the charge into this fight. And this was a super close fight, but watch on this side. Neon, the exhaust goes down onto Rekkles. They're able to turn that here, and then Hylissang, his ult comes through. Abbedagge slides through the wall. It is Dreams with that portal that allows Abbedagge to dodge that one through, and then also turn around and get a kill on top of that.
Unbelievable. As we watch the rest of this fight play out, Schalke are pushing the base. By the way, Fnatic faithful fans watching at home, with a loss to Schalke, the number of scenarios in which they advance is still at 55%. It is still very high. Selfmade has not yet given up. Next flashes over the wall, but look at the rest of Schalke. Gilius once again with the prison. True Shot Barrage tags Nemesis. On the other hand, if you are a Schalke fan, you believe in the miracle run, you have to win this game, close it out. You also have to win tomorrow against Vitality. That is mandatory here for Schalke, no fear. But they've got everything that they need to take down Fnatic.
I mean, when does it stop being a miracle run, and when does it become inevitable? Because Schalke are playing out of their minds.
I'm trying to remember what Vedius had said. To us, it is miracles. To the viewers at home, it is hopeful. However, to Schalke, they have known it will happen. To them, it is just a simple fact that Gilius will deliver. I tell you what, for a player, anybody who's been a fan of LEC for a while, Gilius is one of the most controversial, polarizing players in the league. But he never ceases to make a splash.
I mean,
never.
He's an entertainer. And we thought it was entertaining people on Twitter. Now it's entertaining people in the game. Dreams gets caught.
He does indeed. Very good.
Or does he? It's Hylissang again!
Hylissang thinks he does, but it's a trade of 1-for-1. Neon manages to take out Nemesis, and now Fnatic are running for the hills. Bwipo cannot get away from the CC. Glacial Prison's available for Gilius, and he's not even going to need it. Emperor's Divide locks Selfmade inside the jungle. And it was Hylissang that started the fight, but Schalke finished it
and
off.
They may have just finished the game. Odoamne, they're just TPing into this bottom lane. They have super minions. They don't have to rebat an inhibitor. They've got 30 seconds before the important players on Fnatic are alive. It will just be Hylissang against the world, and Neon's here to lead the charge. He solo killed Nemesis at the start of that fight. He finishes it off with the quadra kill, and Schalke want their 6th win in the split.
This is ridiculous. 33 kills in 30 minutes. Impossible odds in front of Schalke, and they do it. Schalke take down Fnatic and keep the dream alive.
Honestly? What?
I honestly think why is the mantra that I will keep yelling at Fnatic, but look at the elation.
Well, that's the thing. They're not even losing their minds anymore. Like 2 weeks ago, they were jumping up, they were hugging, they were going crazy when they got a win, and now they're, yeah, you know, business as usual, guys. Coming here for our easy 3-0 on the week.
5 wins in a row for Schalke. Fnatic are destroyed. It is a super week. These teams have 2 more games to play. One on Saturday, one on Sunday. Fnatic have never missed playoffs, and while a number of scenarios are still in their favor, Fnatic needs to win some games. As they leave the room, let's turn our attention back to the victors today. Key player of the game suggestions: Gilius, Neon, or Dreams?
It's a question of, do you value who carried the early game, the mid game, or the late game? Because those 3 players did it.
I can't believe they won. I did my predictions. You were the only one that put them in your top 6. Why
would you ever doubt the god himself? You're out of your mind, Quickshot. The entire crew, you're out of your mind. When we return, Mad Lions are looking for an edge in the fight for first as they take on Misfits Gaming.
You were right.
He's a god.
You were right. I made mistakes. What can I say? What can I say?
He's a god.
FC Barcelona players eat veggies.
No, they don't.
Hey guys.
That's a sponsor,
I
Dad.
think it will be a tough one, but we are ready.
What? Come on.
Do you still have those carrots?
Of course I do.
Getting them to eat healthy takes a long time. Beko Harvest Fresh preserves vitamins for longer by simulating the natural 24-hour sun cycle. Beko, eat like a pro.
Gilius, King of Lee ascend to godhood and grant me this win! Yes! Yes! I am God! Fear me! Fear me!
Thanks, Prospering. God, Gilius, indeed. I see it makes you laugh. I mean, it was a great segment, but Gilius, I have to ask you, do you believe in miracles?
Yeah, I believe in the miracle run, for sure.
Yeah, and all the fans are on board, obviously. I mean, that was a great game from you guys. And I mean, talking to you the past few weeks, I know that the synergy is on point. I know that you have the right mindset, but I gotta ask, did you have any discussions before embarking in this Super Week with your teammates to start the Super Week with the right foot?
Yeah, I mean, we know it's do or die time right now. If we lost this game, we were probably out of playoffs contention. So yeah, we are just going in, do or die, and yeah, just win it, you know.
How are you handling the pressure and the tension here? It must be, I can't even imagine, tell me.
Yeah, like today I had a lot more sweaty hands than usual. Maybe it's because of the weather, but for sure we were a bit nervous. We were also sometimes choking a bit in the mid-game, but I think we're handling it decently.
You are, and I mean, I saw you during the week on Twitter. Some people were talking about a potential MVP if you guys make it to playoffs. I mean, even hearing about discussions like this, how does it make you feel?
It's, oh my God. I think I would start crying if I get voted MVP. Like, it's been something that I wanted for a long time, but I couldn't really do it. And if we make it to playoffs now and I get it, it would mean the world to me, for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, yeah, and you had such a big impact on the team so far since you joined them. So tell me about your voice within the team and in-game. How do you help the teammates and Schalke to be successful?
I mean, as a jungler, it's kind of your job to prevent people from inting, you know. I just make the calls. Where's the enemy jungler? I look at the wave states and call accordingly. But I think in the mid game, they don't really need my shot calling. Odoamne does it really well, so yeah.
It's a teamwork after all. And talking a bit more about you, at last, the community chose you to be the player of the game here once again. So is there anything you would like to say to this community? Because they've been really loud about the miracle run here for Schalke.
Yeah, I mean, what I want to say, I fucking love you guys. It's been really fun the last weeks on Twitter and just getting a lot of nice messages, you know. And you guys also believe in the miracle run, so yeah, thank you very much to everyone.
You're at the 5th place in the leaderboard, and you're on a 5-win winning streak here. We'll see more about Schalke tomorrow. Thank you very much, Gilius, for the interview.
Thank you.
And
bye-bye.
For more about this crazy game, let's head it over to Sjokz in the Analyst for post-match.
I'm just so excited for him. I am just so excited for this guy and for this team after all of the hardships, and the miracle run continues. I mean, it's one of those things that you never really think is going to happen, but they took another step towards that miracle.
They've just, it's crazy how well they've been playing.
Yeah.
Like last week, I genuinely believe their game versus XL was one of the cleanest games of the whole split. And then coming into today, it felt like that they went for a similar style of draft. It felt like that they seemed to have a good idea of not only what works in the meta, but also what works for them. And one of the big issues I had was, okay, what's Gilius going to look like on different champions? But week on week, he's just always had a different champion ready. He's playing it the same way, and I feel like that they set themselves up for success right from the get-go.
And the thing that I love about the interview that we just heard with Gilius is that he doesn't take sole credit for everything that's going on. He says, like, look, I bring control in the early game, I stop my teammates from inting, but when we get to mid-game, Odoamne is really good at calling. And it's something that we probably just didn't get to see for the first half of the split because Schalke were perpetually digging themselves out of a hole in the mid-game because they fell so behind early on. So it just feels to me like for the first time we get to see a lot of the strength of this roster that were probably hidden behind the fact that they just couldn't get out of early game healthy.
I'm glad you brought it up because, of course, we're all going on this Gilius hype train, but we had an Abbedagge that's looking much better. We had a Dreams that had a phenomenal game once again. Everything just kind of working out. But, of course, when Gilius is just smacking it in the early game every game, you know, you just can't not talk about it.
I think, you know, we did highlight the draft, and I had a lot of question marks around Fnatic's game plan and what they wanted to do with this draft. And one of the biggest things was this Camille Sejuani. It was something that Schalke used last week. They got their hands on it again, and you can see how comfortable they are on the pick. The moment they make that first gang top happens, that's all the momentum Gilius needs to start attacking the bot lane. And it feels like that he gets Odo into a slightly comfortable position, and then he dedicates all his resources to bot. He leaves Abbedagge in isolation, does whatever, and then like that's where they get all this momentum, and that's where they really start the snowball.
And the thing about this composition and what Fnatic is playing is that the second Fnatic start to fall behind at all when Kai'Sa's behind on items, her wave clear is going to suffer. So if she's stuck under her tower, that frees up Bard to roam. Bard, Sejuani, Camille, no one is safe on the map at any point, and you can see that Fnatic really never got the chance to stand on even footing once Schalke started taking over in the early game.
Well, the Schalke story is so big, we're not really talking about Fnatic that much, but I do want to take a minute because it's important also in the playoff race. But what is just baffling to me is that we made a cold open laughing at scenarios for all teams, but how on point you were, Drakos.
That's not a good sign for Fnatic.
No, but I know it's funny because the cold open was funny, but that is worrisome if the things that you think are going wrong just immediately come true for a team that, you know, is supposed to find solutions around it. That worries me.
I think we heard from Rekkles earlier on, the thing that was holding back Fnatic from being a top team when they were still very much middle of the pack was the fact that they were not playing as a team, that they were just 5 strong players with some different ideas on how to play the game. Now that they've started to lose games further, I think we're seeing kind of an extreme of that, where they're still good players, but we're seeing even less teamwork, even less strategy. The drafts feel scattered. It feels like players are getting picks that they can perform on. We saw a much better game from Selfmade this time around, but it's not enough because, one, the drafts don't make a ton of sense unless someone gets super fed early on, and I don't get it. I would love for Fnatic to explain it to us. I would love to hear from Fnatic in interviews, press, wherever they want to talk about it, because to me it doesn't look, they don't look like a good team. They are a bad team
It's
right
the
now.
thing where Fnatic get given a lot of the benefit of the doubt in the same way G2 do, where it's like, they'll solve the problems, they'll fix them. It's seriously fine. They will be able to get through their issues eventually, but we're not seeing that yet. And like, how can you not be concerned? Because it feels like that this meta conversation that we've had where they can't figure out what the right picks are, we're still talking about it at week 8. And like, they're very close to not qualifying for playoffs. So.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Schalke, they walk away with a win. They continue their miracle run. Any last thoughts?
So I think the very cool thing about Schalke is they've clearly proven that they can compete against the top teams. They're fighting for the top spot. But it's a little bit more than that, because when we look into it, the reality is...
Okay,
No,
hey, let's just head, shoulders, knees, toes, whatever you got to do, just get us out of here. We don't need more. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You got your chance. No, it's good. We're good.
Gilius.
Just go to break real quick. We'll be back with the next game. LEC, head, shoulders, knees, toes. Enjoy it. Song of the week. Woo!